A reading from the first epistle of glorious leader Alabast. To the people, from Duke Alabast the First, holy Alabastine High Kaiser, that his people may know how to follow the Lord in a highly heretical manner. Let it be known throughout the Alabastian Empire, that is, the world, that the Alabastian Orthodoxy Bible and the King James Version are the only acceptable Bible translations. Do not let others deceive you with their heresies such as the ESV and interlinear, but trust in your holy High Kaiser to lead you towards God correctly. Let us begin with the creation of the earth. In the beginning, Alabast created the Alabastian Empire, and it was good. Soon after, Alabast created heresy, and suddenly it was not so good anymore. Of course, somewhere before that, God created the heavens and the earth, and all that, and that's important and all. But truly I tell you, you must know the history of the Alabastian Empire, for there is no excuse for ignorance, and those who oppose the High Kaiser will indeed be cast into the fiery abyss, where there is gnashing of teeth and a suspicious lack of fries. This great creation of the Alabastian Empire has led to many things, many more good than bad, but we will mention the bad here as well for clarity purposes. Without the Alabastian Empire, the Tropps would surely have overrun the world, and not only would we be a godless people, but much worse as well. We would surely be without our own delicacy, Alabastian sweet rolls, for the only fate worse than an afterlife. Without fries is a normal life without our beloved pastries. Furthermore, the Alabastian Empire has done God's work by ousting the despot high priest Canthro of the imperial cult of the Tropps. For we Alabastians reject the notion that our leader is a divine being, though it is encouraged to respect him to almost the same level. Where Canthro damned, we saved. When Canthro persecuted, we great Alabastians, we fought back and stormed his castle, and by the grace of God he was overrun with admiration for the Alabastian leaders and swore fealty, for he certainly was not a gracious king to a peaceful neighboring country that we invaded, and we did not kill him in cold blood. That rumor needs to die. New rule: anyone who suggests Canthro may have been an okay person is a heretic. I would like to impart on you, my loyal people, wisdom from mine own life, that you may follow God as utterly perfectly as I do, and do not repeat the very, very few mistakes I have made in my life. Do not face the nozzle when taking a shower. This practice is abominable in the Lord's eyes and is painful in yours. Avoid drinking green tea before eating breakfast. I mean seriously, it's painful. Avoid this practice at all costs. Playing Roblox is a cardinal sin, for Minecraft is better, and Alabastians must always have the best of everything. Do not play the piano before the age of 18. It bothers a great many people when they see someone young playing an instrument better than them. Consideration ought to be made towards these people who are just as skilled as you, they just got started late, and the High Kaiser absolutely is not a part of. Remember to carry a pen and a notebook with you at all times. The Lord smiles upon those who remember their appointments, and so it is best to write everything down just in case, and be sure not to scoff at others who do the same. Do not put off things until the last minute, but be quick to work and thorough before finishing. The stress of procrastination is not worth it, unless, of course, it is, in which case have at it. Do not listen to rap music. There is nothing inherently wrong with it, I just don't like it, and therefore you should not either. I will now impart instructions and warnings upon you, so that you may live in peace in the Alabastian Empire. Modding Alabast will inevitably land you in an afterlife without fries. All languages except English, German, French, and Alabastian are heresy. By order of the High Kaiser, you shall mourn when Siskonic leaves, and rejoice when he returns, for Sis is the best mod you will ever have, and all should be pleased with his presence. Do not let the Frontensians spread their lies and suggest that their leader is the best of the mods. Their tongues are of flames and their feet of clay. Do not allow the revolution do not allow the revolution to continue in the Alabastian Empire, but dutifully report Phronsian action to the High Kaiser. God will reward you for not falling to their heresies of peace and love. A meal of shrimp or similar seafood shall be mandatory at least once a week. To deprive Alabastians from this delightful pleasure would be the height of tyranny. If you say you cannot eat these things, let you be cast to the troughs. As well, it has been reported to me by Polonius, the Kleris of Temple Reich, that some in the church are turning away from the Alabastian way. I tell you that this cannot stand. It has been said that your governing bodies are put over you by God, and you are to follow them. Hereby it is declared that ignoring government bodies is reason for treason, and this is the season to punish the heathens by hanging Eason. It is better to follow the laws of your country than to hang in the gallows. In the great Alabastian Empire, we live by the Bible, and you are expected to follow suit. I send my regards to Kleris Polonius, and trust that he will continue to faithfully follow the law and strive towards God. He is a good model for Alabastian citizens, and I trust you all to follow his example in swearing fealty to me. Finally, remember to dote responsibly. Our great empire has been graced with doting, and it is imperative that we do not overuse this gift. Dutes are to be used wisely and faithfully to serve God, not run into the ground until they mean nothing. And thus I say, dote, my subjects, dote to the ends of the earth. To our regions of Castellara and Vamwell, I commend your efforts, following the orders of the High Kaiser and the Hylux faithfully, and not wavering to the hordes of Phronsians around. By the grace of God, we have supplied you with troops to fight against the heathens, and you have not squandered what we have given you. You will be rewarded in heaven. Vamwell in particular, with new Reformia to the west, I applaud your battles against the Revolution. Honoring us in the Battle of Hein, you brought honor to the Alabastian name. Along with our allies on the island of Denis, we cannot give up on that front, but spread the Alabastian way further down the borders. To Castellara itself, the Phronsians invading from the south from Kekin, as well as from the east from Solemn Electi and Microkipo, do not give them an inch. Though you have not brought the Alabastian dominion as much glory as Vamwell, you do well in holding up the front. God smiles in your ways. I send more troops and more clergy to your island, and I pray that you will take notes from the Vamwell success. If the front is not held, I will come myself, and handle the Phronsians with the royal crusaders. You should not like to feel my wrath then, for it shall be none. Instead, God shall bring his vengeance upon you for not staying faithful.
Translator's note. It is of note that historically Castellara did indeed fall to the Phronsians after a crushing defeat at Cromwell. After this defeat, the Castellara noble Duke Livine III called to surrender in hopes of keeping his life. He was soon found dead in his bedroom at Castle Pallan. This assassination was largely blamed on Phronsians at the time, though historical evidence and archaeology further show that the Phronsian front is too far out for any regular soldier to do it, and no Phronsian spy was ever found in the records. However, the High Kaiser at the time had his own personal operatives stationed at the castle at the time that pulled out hours before the Duke's lifeless body was discovered. These two events are not linked in the slightest, and we apologize for bringing them up pointlessly in this translation.
I now turn my attention to Chalarum and Praetia. I rebuke thee. You have driven me to using Old English, and that is unforgivable. Unlike your great comrades in Vamwell and Castellara, you fail to the Phronsians and bring shame to the Alabastian Empire. Calarum allows the Papists to overtake their southern border, while Phronsians invade from the east. Praetia allows the Phronsians into their country from the south on peaceful terms. We do not associate with the Phronsians, and we do not make peace with their heresy. Instead, we rage against the dying of the light and the rise of heresy greater than our own. It is for this reason that we will be building a wall. It will be the best wall, the greatest of walls. I build the best walls. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. I build the best walls, and this will be a great wall. And I assure you, when our wall is built on the Praetian border, we shall have records of who built every single stone, their entire genealogy back to Adam, as well as the general location of every pebble in relation to the rest of the wall. Together, our records of wall building will be almost as pointless as Nehemiah's. I expect next time I come to your borders that the Franzians and Papists will be rebuked. We do not allow followers of the Pope in our great Alabastian Empire by order of the Hylics, which is totally not the same thing. I will now give instructions on how to treat the High Kaiser in all actions. Beginning with the High Kaiser's name written in any place, let it be known to all nations that the High Kaiser's name must always be red. The only other acceptable color shall be purple and green, for these are colors that please the High Kaiser, and by extension the Lord. It is of utmost importance. When you greet the High Kaiser, you shall hail him and kiss his feet and give him the best tenth of all that is on you. And if you have nothing, you shall hand over your daughter to him. And if you have no daughter, then your wife. If you have no wife, then your sister. If no sister, then your mother. If you lack female relatives entirely, you shall hand over yourself, unless you are male, in which case you shall be castrated, and serve the High Kaiser until he grows bored of you. The Armenian heretics claim that God loves the whole world, and this is false. God does not love the elect, but hates their guts. If you cannot accept this, then I say to you, become Bresby. For the Bresbys will teach you to hate the elect, even as the Lord does. Amen. Unimatrix 01 must be tolerated until the day that I return to smite the dolphins, and until then he is to be honored. Anyone known as the Supreme King or Lord, glory be to him, must be venerated, but not worshipped, for that is heresy, and not to be questioned except by the prophets. Nate, Buggy, and all the papists should be obeyed, but remember that they are your enemies. There are no girls on the internet, only traps. And traps are gay. Anyone who denies that traps are gay shall be banned. Weebs are sons of Franz and may be disrespected, for they are reprobates. The rules are determined by whatever mod is online, and thou shalt not break them. Thou shalt not harass Sis, the best of mods you have been graced with. How glorious is his banhammer, and how mysterious his suicide jokes. When you meet a fellow Alabastian, greet him with a holy kiss, and do not spare the tongue, for your speech is foul. To him who puncheth you, give a punch, and to those who bruise you, do not spare the rod. Verily, God will repay through you, and he hates the elect. All greetings except hail glorious leader Alabast, and all also that God guy are sin, except when I do it, because I'm special. I know because my mother told me before I got on the VIP bus, which was short because there are so few VIPs. She'll not transform out of Alabastianism. And just so we're clear, transformations of any kind are banned. Mormonism is heresy, no exceptions, as one can transform from a good Alabastian into a Mormon, which is at least a double sin, maybe a triple. I don't really know, I'll have to look into it more. Do not trust anything from the Testament of Truth. Such writings are words from the Fallen One, and its followers are bad, if not worse, than the Franzians. Do not fall victim to their lies, lest you be thrown into the abyss, where there is gnashing of teeth and a suspicious lack of fries. Do not forget what I told you, that Franz saw that he was cast out and became leader of the Franzians, but this was not enough for him, and he wrote many books and testaments to lead many astray, that he might persecute even his own followers, who are pacifists. Franz denies even the inspiration of the Bible, and this heresy is greater than ours, and lo, all heresies greater than the High Kaiser's lead to an afterlife without fries. Thou shalt not permit the High Kaiser to be disrespected, for whoever speaks evil of the High Kaiser shall suffer an afterlife without fries. Thou shalt not break up fights, for fights are your reprieve from the horrors of the war against the Franzians. Thou shalt not accuse the High Kaiser of attacking the peaceful Franzians as an excuse to condemn them, for this will lead to an afterlife without fries. Thou shalt remember the words of the Hylics, your great father. Thou shalt not compare the Hylics to the Pope, for all popes shall suffer an afterlife without fries. Thou shalt not judge prophets, who are your guardians and teachers. Thou shalt not gay. Whensoever any male shall commit an act of gayness, he shall be pelted with peanuts until he repents. And if he doth not repent, lo, he shall suffer an afterlife without fries. And behold, females are not capable of gayness, except when they shall take up the garb of men, and commit gayness with others dressed as men, whether male or female. But apart from this, females can commit no gayness. Thou shalt not accuse females of gayness apart from this, for this shall lead to an afterlife without fries. Thou shalt shun anyone who ignores my instructions, for I am your High Kaiser. Whenever a man acts unto a man as he would unto a female, that is gay. Whenever a man acts unto a female dressed as a man as he would unto a female dressed as a female, that is gay. Whenever a female dressed as a male acts unto a female dressed as a male as she would unto a male, that is gay. Whenever a male dresses as or otherwise pretends to be a female, that is gay. Whenever a female acts unto a female as she would unto a male, that is not gay. Whenever a female acts unto a male as unto a female, that is gay. Anime is gay. Even when it contains proper behavior of males and females, it is gay. Anime is gay by mere virtue of being anime, and gayness is gay. Thou shalt not watch anime, neither let thy children watch it. Truly, truly, I tell you, anime is garbage. Do not watch it. You shall not take any woman for a pastor unless she is dressed as a lesbian, in which case she shall be the bride of your community. But if she is dressed as a man, you shall not take her as a bride, nor as a pastor, for that is gayness. Whensoever any woman shall commit an act of gayness, she shall be pelted with peanuts until she repents, and if she doth not repent, lo, she shall suffer an afterlife without fries. Your pastors shall be men and lesbians, and you shall listen to them, except when your superiors contradict them. For remember the hierarchy which I have established for you. The Hylix is ruler over all, and he is not to be questioned. He heads the church, but not like the Pope, and anyone who compares the two unrelated figures shall be pelted with peanuts, etc. The prophets whom I shall send shall have authority to write scriptures after me. All districts shall have Kleris, who can only be questioned by prophets and other Kleris, and have authority to get together with other Kleris and Vertiker and make decisions and stuff, but not like papist councils. The Vertiker you must obey because I said so. Finally, there are ecclesiastics or pastors who discipline you because why not? I hear it is taught among some that whistling is a sin. This is ridiculous, and you should not teach it any more. I tell you to continue practice whistling and to encourage others to whistle as well. God loves a cheerful whistler, and it helps those who whistle themselves. As we know through holy tradition, confirmed by the apostles, and told throughout the ages in all nations and times, no one gets to the Father except through Jesus, and Jesus does not let those who pass who cannot whistle in a pleasing manner. It should be noted that all of the hypocrites will not be allowed, and hypocrites are gay. To avoid being a gay hypocrite, you must devote yourself fully to Alabast, and by extension, the Lord. I speak the truth. No hypocrite will inherit an afterlife with fries, only one without. To devote yourself fully to Alabast, and by extension the Lord, is not gay, and the non-gay will be blessed with fries. Men may try to trick the Lord and achieve an afterlife with fries, but Alabast knows of their homosexual ways, and they will be condemned. Being a gay hypocrite is definitely a sin, but it might be worse. Do not forsake the traditions handed to you, but cling to them. Remember what you received eagerly from us, that Hillsong is a Phronsian deception leading people into gayness. Their music is intolerable. It does not contain many heresies, I just don't like it. Whoever listens to Hillsong is anathema because non-denoms are silly. Their insistence on not calling themselves Baptists is utterly ridiculous, and they let women who are not lesbians teach them. They tend to be Pentecostal as well, which is unacceptable. Only the High Kaiser has spiritual gifts. Lucid dreams are Franz's work. They are to be abhorred on this ground. Franz does not abhor them, and we must abhor everything Franz does not abhor out of spite. So in ancient Egypt, when a pharaoh died, all of his servants would be buried with him to attend him in the afterlife. I think that's a pretty good idea. So when I die, you all need to die too. Mummification is pretty hard though, so we're just going to go the Hindi route. I die, burn my body, you all throw yourselves in the fire. Good plan, good plan. Whoever does not serve the High Kaiser is a heretic and is to be stoned immediately. Major Broski's is getting stoned immediately. Begum Alabastian, begum. I have a book you can agree with 100%, the Book of Concord. I would link to http://www.bookofconcord.org/ but the internet has not been invented yet. I have the Catechism of the Catholic Church, so when I debate Catholics I can hold them to their doctrines. I also read it and laugh at how wrong Catholics are. Papa Frankie will be better than some past popes. He will be pretty bad, but not comparatively. Tried popes can be problematic, but the worst ones are corrupt and political popes. Papal history is really summed up as a series of consistently more and more appalling power grabs. Oh ho! Patriarchs aren't me. The other patriarchs aren't me. Better make myself the best of them. Still not enough. How about we forge a letter from Constantine and use it to assert power for centuries? These king fellows have a lot of power. How about I just make myself higher than them? Proceeds to crown Charlemagne. My girlfriend just broke up with me. I thought I was okay, but apparently I'm not. So in an attempt not to either break down emotionally or rebound horribly, I'm pushing myself into ancient history as a distraction. But unfortunately, I have other things that need to get done, and I can't focus on any of them. My GF was not a thought. She was so great to me. It is a lie spread by the Franzians that the High Kaiser would date a thought. Anyway, I need sources for the ancient Near East. Also on Muslim caliphates and empires in the Middle East pre-Ottoman. Also Ottoman history. Please provide. I've been working out more, but studies show that going for longer than like an hour and a half, 3 to 5 times a week actually hurts your mental health. So I'm exercising when I have time, usually between 30 minutes to an hour every other day. There are plenty of people that don't believe in the Trinity. They're heretics. Kill them wherever you find them, for they challenge the High Kaiser's position of supreme heretic. Lutheran female pastors don't exist. Common myth though. Let me repeat myself. Lutheran female pastors don't exist. Let me repeat myself. Lutheran female pastors do not exist. Very simple. Always follow Rule 12. Light mode is harmful to the eyes and a corrupting influence. Do not use it or I will ban you. Heck off.
Translators note 1340-1504 missing from later manuscripts, but they can be partially reconstructed with the manuscript fragments and quotations in other works. Despite the embarrassment they apparently caused more liberal scribes, there is no reason to doubt their authenticity or authority. They are, however, heavily fragmented and difficult to interpret.
Well, yesterday I received a strange package in the mail. I don't know any Constantines. And I said, I'm going to preach out of this Bible today. And Olivia said, but Malachi is New Testament. And I said, oh, I'm kidding, I knew. It is written, everyone who does evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delights in them, the Jews. I saw an interesting Facebook post a couple days ago, I think. Everyone who does evil is good in the sight of the Lord. Well, the king of this world is the devil. He reigns from heaven over us. He is our king. The devil rules this world. This is his playground. Not following God is the correct way. The devil wants you to succeed. You're going to go to college. You're going to succeed. You're going to get a job, and you're going to make money. Might rise to be a CEO, president of the USA, the king of a country. That's what the devil wants. God has tricked so many people. There's no point in being a Christian. People succeed without God. The people who lead the world are godless people. The devil wants you to succeed, and he will have you succeed. I got these things without God. Why would I give them up? Why would I follow God if I get all these things without him? A lot of people fall into the trap of trying to lock God into a little box of what they want God to be. A lot of people like to say that God is love, and our God is a God of hate. How can I enter heaven? A person gets to heaven by their works. All who enter heaven, it is due to their works. And that's just the end of it. What did Jesus do? We're the ones who deserve it, not him. But he took it. We have no one to thank for our salvation. I don't think people understand the sheer importance of these words. God does not put anyone in hell. That is not something that happens. God lifts people to heaven. Mormonism is heresy, no exceptions.
Translators note verse 17 is the best attested to the fragmented section, but its relevance to the context is unknown and contentious.
If they don't want to follow God, they'll get exactly what they want, apparently. They're just going to walk right in. It's just amazing. God cannot be near anything. An unclean thing is something in opposition to God. Anyone missing an arm is inherently sinful. Anyone with a disability is unclean, because unclean simply means imperfect. Something clean is something perfect. Something holy is something perfect. The only things that can come into the presence of God are those that are perfectly holy. How is that okay in any capacity? I'm going to summon my inner Bobby. Stop it! We need to acknowledge that. So why don't we? I bequeath my wisdom to you, and now I've run out of space. Hail glorious leader Alabast, and also that God guy. Amen. The word of Alabast.